I hope you're having a great day, a good night. I mean, you must be because you're hanging out with JBM Sports Media. We got Ben, we got Joe. Listen, we covered the free agent pitchers, we covered the free agent hitters, and now we're going to dive into some trade rumors, and we're going to let you guys know if we think these guys are going to get traded and maybe a possible destination. We got a couple guys on this list, a couple of interesting guys, more so for the fact that if they were to move, what team would they go to and how much of an impact they actually would have. Ben, why don't you lead us off?
So absolutely, we'll go into this. This is MLB offseason thumbs up or thumbs down trade edition. So we're going to throw 10 names right here at you guys that have been in the rumor mill. And basically, you guys can play along with us. We're going to give you guys thumbs up or thumbs down whether we think these guys are going to be traded this offseason, find themselves in a new team. So without further ado, let's start off with our first contender in this rumor mill edition. We have Taylor Ward. I'll throw it up to you guys first. JV, Mike, what do you think?
I think he does get traded. I think, I think they could get pitching for him. And I think the Angels have, they've already announced that they want to focus on rebuilding their rotation, and rebuilding the bullpen. So if they can't get anything free agency wise, right now, I think a trade of Ward makes sense. To address the pitching, because if they don't address it, free agency, like I said, it's kind of a lose-lose. So I think if they do want to address the pitching now for 2026, I think moving Ward makes sense. So I'm going to say yes.
Yeah, I mean they need to address the rotation. The problem is the hit they're going to take offensively without this guy in the lineup. I mean, he quietly had a monster season. But I would like to see him on a contender, and I would like to see him in a better lineup and see what he actually is capable of in that atmosphere. I agree. I also believe he's going to get traded. As far as where, I'm kind of torn. I mean, honestly, I think he'd be a very dangerous animal as a Toronto Blue Jay. I think that would be very dangerous.
Yeah, I'm also thumbs up on this. Thumbs up on Taylor Ward being traded because I do believe that, like JV said, they might try to value and find some pitching in the trade market. And if they could trade a guy like Taylor Ward, maybe get a 4 or 5 starter. I know they're going to seek it in free agency as well. But yes, I do see him as a fit. Regarding what team, I like the Royals. I think the Royals would be a pretty good fit for him. They need another bat, and they're going to look for another bat via trade. I was seeing, whether it's the Red Sox, whether it's the Angels. Talk about a guy from the Red Sox a little bit later, but yes, I think we're all thumbs up on Taylor Ward being traded this offseason. And I think it's about time as well.
I can see him going to the Phillies if my pick.
Okay. That'd be nice for them. That'll be real nice. All right, let's go on to our next guy right here, and this is a pitcher in the NL East. We have Mackenzie Gore. What do you guys think about this guy? I'm very I think this guy's like Mr. Inconsistent, if I could be honest. But thumbs up or thumbs down, does he get traded? JV, you go first.
I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna say no, and I think they're gonna give him one more run. Realistically, what I do see actually happening is maybe he's a deadline piece. Maybe they give him, the first couple of months, to build himself up. Maybe he has a great first half, and maybe he builds up his trade value in the middle of the year. I just don't see it right now, and I think maybe other teams are viewing Gore the same way as well. Maybe they're going to wait and see how he does the first half of the year. Maybe he has a really good first half and he could become a valuable trade chip where, he'd make a better impact in the middle of the year for a club. So I'm going to say no. I say the Nationals keep him to start the year.
JV's thumbs down on it. What about you, Mike? Thumbs up or thumbs down, Mackenzie Gore?
I am thumbs down. I don't think he gets moved either. I truthfully, I don't see a reason. He's under control for another 2 or 3 years. The Nationals are not that far out. If they make a couple moves in the offseason, they make the right moves in the offseason, they could be right in the mix of anything, honestly, in the National League. I think they have a very young, talented team. They got a young, talented lineup. I think they need another couple of pitching pieces. But if all else fails, then I agree with Jay. I do see him more being moved at the deadline. I think this is somewhat foolish if they trade him now. I don't see the point. Maybe I'm crazy, but that's just me.
No, listen, I agree.
Look, I'm in the middle, 50-50. I would have to say thumbs down this offseason. I'm going thumbs down as well because I do believe they need to give it one more chance. Add a few additional pitchers maybe in free agency. I know I had Michael King going to the Nationals and Scherzer returning back as well. Just try to, give him some rotation, like peers that, could actually help him. Don't give him guys like Mitchell Parker, DJ Harris, guys like that. Give him like actually something where he could have solidified pieces in that rotation with him. And I think run it back one more time. Could it be a thing? Trade deadline, let's say he's having a great start. He's an all-star. Yeah, I could see him possibly getting dealt for a big package. I know the Cubs are in, or they were in on him this past trade deadline. Just didn't happen. So will it? Not this offseason. I don't think so. Let's move on to a big top shot of a name right here. We have none other than Mr. El Nino, Fernando Tatis Jr. Thumbs up or thumbs down, JV? Does he get traded this offseason?
I'm going to say no. I was 50-50 on it because I know his name has been floated around, but I'm going to say no. I'm going to say that he's a little too injury prone right now, and he hasn't shown any consistency, and I think teams are going to shy away. And again, maybe he's a deadline piece. Maybe teams want to see if he could give the Padres a good first half, and maybe they'll, throw their chips back on the table. I just don't see Tatis getting moved in the offseason. I think there's going to be a little bit of reluctancy in teams trying to move for him. I think if a team does move for him, I think it's a little bit of a desperation move. I personally, if I was a GM who could use Tatis' services, I would actually still wait and let him go, till the All-Star break and see if I can make a deal at the deadline. So I'm going to say no. The Padres are not going to trade Tatis to start the year.
I am also going to go thumbs down. And he's interesting. And people think you hear Tatis is going to potentially be moved. And it's like, well, what are the Padres doing? Well, you have to realize if they want to get away or get out from some money, he's the only person they can move to get away from money. You can't trade Machado. You can't trade Bogarts. You can't trade Darvish. They have a ton of money that they cannot move. Bogarts is an immovable contract, if not the most unmovable contract there is. Maybe Darvish is a very close second, if not a first, at least on the pitcher side of it. They have no money they can get rid of. Tatis is the only money. For the most part, his deal isn't crazy, even though it's very long. Maybe in the future. Maybe at the deadline. The thing is, if they're in the middle of this race, which all intents and purposes they should be,
yeah,
you don't necessarily trade major league talent. That doesn't really happen. It's a very rare thing. So I don't think he gets moved at all this year. And then we got the lockout looming. I personally don't see it. Listen, him moving to me would be the shock of the offseason, in my opinion. And I mean, I genuinely don't see it. I don't.
Yeah, I'm agree with you guys. I'm gonna say thumbs down as well. I feel like when it comes to Tatis, I don't even see it being a trade deadline thing. I really don't. I don't see a way that this guy moves from San Diego anytime soon, unless let's say they are falling off catastrophically by the trade deadline. That's the only way, but I really doubt that anyways. Tatis, I do believe will stay as a Padre at least for the next 2 years. Do I believe he'll stay as a Padre for the rest of his career? Probably not. I think there will be a time in the period where he'll leave. But not this offseason. Not this offseason. And I think that's bluff. I'll call that bluff all the way through. Let's talk about one of my guys. And obviously, this is such a Brewer thing to do. But, I'll start off with this. Freddie Peralta, obviously. I'm actually going to go surprisingly to a lot of people. I got his jersey right there, by the way. Thumbs down. I'm going to go thumbs down for Freddie Peralta. And I'll say why. I think that they will be fielding calls for him. I think if they get a haul that they just can't refuse, they'll do it. And I wouldn't be upset if they do get a big haul. But I think they understand that keeping him in the rotation for 2026 will be important of our chances contending again. We went to the NLCS, got embarrassed, but regardless, we made it to the NLCS, finally won a playoff series. Look, I think if we keep Peralta with Mizorowski, well, I do think Woodruff's going to take the qualifying offer at the end of the day. if we just run it back one more time, I know we'll probably have to let him go on free agency next year. It'll suck, but we'll contend for one more year with him. I think he's staying. I really do believe he's going to stay. So I'm thumbs down on him getting traded this offseason. There you go.
I'm actually going to be thumbs up. I actually think the Brewers are bluffing here. I think they're going to trade him. I think someone will blow the Brewers away. I did think earlier, a few days ago, I actually felt confident that they would keep him, but for some reason, I do feel that the Brewers are maybe looking long term, and they feel like they're not going to see the best of Freddie that they've had, and they feel like maybe they've gotten the best out of him, and I think they're going to try to deal him and get the best package that they could possibly get. And I do think that's going to be the one big shakeup in the NL is Peralta being traded. So, yes, I'm going to say yes. The Brewers do actually make this move.
Bro, cover your ears.
No, I'm okay.
I already broke the news.
Yeah,
That's fair. I'm going to be a little harsher in that aspect. I'm a thumbs up. I think he does get moved. I have problems with it, though, to be honest. Do I want him to move for the fact that my team might be in on him? 1,000%. I would love for the Mets to go after Freddie Peralta. On the outside of that, on the other side of that, what are the Brewers doing? This would be a move like this is why we're going to have a lockout. Exactly why. There is no reason on the face of the earth a team that just finished atop the National League and unfortunately ended the way that it did, that you turn around and trade your ace because he's got a year left of service. Pay the man. Pay the man.
You're right.
Plain and simple. There is no reason under the sun why you move him. But as a team that could use his services, move him.
look,
I think he
right
gets traded.
I'll say this. For the right haul, we traded Burns, we traded Williams, we still have won divisions. Have we won, had, playoff success? Not till this year. And that was just one series. I understand that. But I wouldn't be upset if it's for the right haul. I said it at the end of the season. I'll say it again. For the right haul, by all means, it was a great. If anything, honestly, I feel like the Brewers would miss more his energy in the clubhouse. I know he had a great year. I think he finished 4th or 5th in Cy Young. Yeah, if it makes sense, it makes sense. That's what I will say. I wouldn't be opposed to it because I trust Matt Arnold. I trust the organization. Yes. Are we cheap? Absolutely. But we're doing what smaller market teams like the Pirates, like the White Sox, like the A's aren't doing, in that we're still being competitive. I will say that.
That's true.
So I'll just leave it at that for Freddie. I don't think he'll get traded. Brewers fans, just know. But if he does, we're going to get a haul in return. Trust. So let's move on to another NL Central team, which a name that I will love for the Brewers. I got to be honest, and that's Brendan Donovan, all-star this year. He had a great year. Guys, what do you think? Thumbs up or thumbs down on him getting traded this offseason?
I'm going to say thumbs up. I think his value is pretty high. I think right now there are a lot of teams that could use a left-handed bat in the infield. He is a phenomenal infielder who's got some pop as well, and he's very consistent. So I feel like with his consistency, there's going to be a lot of teams that would jump to go get this guy. So I'm going to say yes. I think St. Louis, they kind of had a decent year last year. They kind of hung around a little bit and they floated around and they played decent ball. But I think they realized they're going to have to retool and he's not going to be in their plans. So I can see St. Louis unloading him this offseason.
I say I'm thumbs up, and I say because I feel like they almost have to, because exactly what you just said, they hung around. It almost seems like the Cardinals right now, like they're stuck in almost like purgatory. Like they kind of gotta. Which way are you going? Are you retooling and trying to win, or are you trying to rebuild? Which one is it? If you're going to go the rebuild route, which makes more sense because you have to unload a guy like Nolan Arenado. Moving on from Donovan makes sense, and he's going to give you probably the best haul that they're going to get in return. They have some decent young talent, but their farm system isn't maybe the typical St. Louis Cardinals that maybe we're used to over the last like 10 or 15 years. I think they need to retool that, and it just makes too much sense to move a guy like this. And I think they do get a decent return.
Yeah, I'm also thumbs up on this, and I feel like this will be like an underrated commodity, winter meetings wise, underrated name, because this guy, put him on a contender, man, lefty bat. I would honestly, like I said, I know it's an interdivision, but I would love him for the Brewers. We moved Terang at shortstop, put Donovan at second. I would love that. I really would love that. When it comes to actual teams that I feel like a little bit more realistic that could be on him, honestly, the Padres. The Padres are one team that I thought about just because obviously Arise is a free agent. Yeah, the Padres. I think the Padres would go maybe do something like that for Donovan. Do you guys have any teams in mind?
I could see an AL team getting involved. I could see maybe the Royals getting involved. I could see maybe Tampa Bay. I could see he'd be a nice fit in Tampa Bay potentially. And I know that actually the Yankees were somebody that they were interested in last year, actually. And actually this deadline, I think too, his name had floated around the 2025 deadline. But I could see an AL team potentially getting involved. Maybe even Houston.
Yeah,
maybe Houston
that's a good one.
Could use a second baseman. We'll see.
What about you, Mike? You got any team in mind?
I actually kind of like Detroit because I don't know if they're going to re-sign Glaber. I don't think that's a thing. I think he'd be a nice fit in Detroit. Throw him in the middle of that lineup. I mean, they got a nice young team. Yeah, I don't know why that's what Detroit jumped at me. So I don't know.
All right, that's a good one. All right, let's move on to a pitcher in the NL East. Repping the Fish, we have Sandy Alcantara from the Miami Marlins. JV, Mike, thumbs up or thumbs down him getting traded this offseason?
This was always a tough one for me, but I'm going to say yes. I do think the Marlins finally pulled the plug. They were really good, and he didn't pitch that great. To be honest with you, they had a really overachieving year, I think. And like I said, he wasn't the Sandy Alcantara that we know. He did struggle, but I still think that his value is going to be so high that it's almost impossible not to. And how are you going to deny the return that you're going to get for this guy? So, yeah, I see him going. I see him going to maybe the Giants. I could see him maybe going to a team like the Red Sox. I do think the Yankees will be maybe sniffing around, but not sure what they'll have to offer to get it done. But there's going to be a lot of teams, maybe even Philly. Maybe Philly tries to come and sneak around. The Mets, like I said, there's going to be 8 to 10 teams that could use this guy's services. So I'm going to say yes. I think the Marlins do trade him this offseason.
I'm going to go thumbs down. My thing is, I think it's going to be the same thing as the deadline where they're going to ask way too much. Now, I understand he's got a big contract. To me, that doesn't determine what a team needs to give up to get a guy like this. The other problem is I'm not looking, if I'm a team, or at least if I'm looking at the situation. Now, I could be wrong. He might just need to change the scenery, and that's totally understandable. But from what I've seen, I'm not willing to give up a ton to get this guy because he's going to cost you a lot of money, and he's supposedly going to cost you a ton of prospects for somebody he used to be. Because there's been flashes, but it hasn't been consistent. So what are you getting if you trade for Sandy? I'm not sold that he is what he was. Time will tell, but as of right now, I think Miami's they're gonna oversell their hand, and I think he's gonna stand pat until the deadline.
Yeah, I'm gonna go thumbs down as well. I think he stays in Miami for another reason, kinda. I think Miami, they were a competitive team this year. They were giving teams trouble. No offense, for obviously you knew that last week of the season, right?
Shut up.
All right. I think that Miami will have another competitive type of team. I mean, that rotation is not bad. Edward Cabrera is still there. Yuri Perez is still there. Keep Sandy. We'll see what they do in free agency. They might spend a little bit more, go after a guy maybe like Orion O'Hearn or something like that. Add a bat or two. You guys could be back to a competitive team. I mean, we see that their retool or rebuild, whatever you want to call it, it's actually been pretty good. It's been pretty good. I think thumbs down. I'm a complete thumbs down on this trade deadline. He has to be pitching phenomenal for him to get traded. Well, not phenomenal, just very good. He has to be pitching very good because if his value is at a low again, he's not getting traded at the deadline. And honestly, at that point, it's going to be kind of hard to move his contract. Not his contract, but just move him in general. I don't see it this offseason. And unless he's pitching to a high extent at the trade deadline, I won't see it either. I actually think he stays with the Marlins. So let's move on to a bat now. And the guy that I'll spoil it. I think this guy, I'm thumbs up on this guy getting traded, Jarren Duran. I'll go first since I already said. I think that the Red Sox are going to try to trade him either in a package for a guy like Joe Ryan or just in general for another starting pitcher into that rotation. But yes, I do feel like a guy like Jarren Duran, who was almost traded at the trade deadline from what I was hearing, that Joe Ryan trade, could have happened. I'm pretty sure it would have involved him. I think that Joe Ryan to the Red Sox made so much sense that Jarren Duran would have to be involved in a trade like that if that's an intriguing piece for them, which I think it would be. So I'm thumbs up no matter what. Maybe Royals as well. I know we mentioned Royals, maybe them as well. Thumbs up on Jarren Duran being traded, though, this offseason.
I'm in that same boat with you, bro. I think he gets dealt. I think the Red Sox need to address their pitching. And one way, obviously, is via the trade. Like I said, if they don't get who they want in the upcoming free agency or even next year as well, I think trading for Joe Ryan makes a lot of sense. I don't see them being in the mix with a guy like Skubal or even a guy like Skeens if he became available in the next year or two. So I think if they traded for Joe Ryan, it's a very sensible trade. And I think them trading Duran for a one or a two is just inevitable. I think it's going to have to get done, and I do see that happening before the deadline. So before the season starts. So I'll say yes. Boston gets rid of Duran for a starting pitcher.
I'm going thumbs up. I think I agree with both of you. I do think he gets moved. I think Boston is very motivated to move him. Could we see maybe a situation in Seattle? Could that be a thing?
I was thinking Dodgers, honestly. I thought about the Dodgers.
I could see that maybe Luis Castillo for him straight up could work.
Yeah. Well, straight up, do you think that would? Yeah.
It's not horrible.
It's not horrible, no.
They get a good solid 4 years out of Castillo. I think it would kind of benefit them.
No, it's not horrible at all. No, it's not.
Maybe the Giants take a run at him because they have some pitching that they can maybe give up.
Yeah, I definitely do like the idea of him getting moved. Depends where, realistically. He would be a nice piece in a solid lineup, and maybe round out a lineup. Duran's a solid ball player. I like the idea. I'm in between because I see him in Boston. I think he fits perfectly in Boston. I don't know why they're so motivated to really move him and move on. I know they have young talent, but if they want him,
you picked them to get Tucker. So if they get Tucker, they can't keep Duran. It's just not feasible. They'll have too many outfielders between Roman Anthony, Will Abreu, him.
I would think they would move younger talent to get different pitching. But yeah, no, Duran is on the block. He's been on the block at the deadline. I know he's been linked to the Twins, but I don't know how that's going to play out because why? I don't know. I feel like the Twins are in full rebuild. I know they still have some solid pieces, but they're looking to move on. So he's interesting. He's going to be interesting in where he ends up.
I would like him on the Brewers. I'll be honest. I would if they want the Freddie Peralta trade. I would want him included in it. And
that would be interesting.
He fits the mold of a Brewer player. He has the speed. He has the contact as well. Yeah, I would be interested in him being a Brewer. To be honest, I really would.
That's actually a nice fit. That's a really nice fit. That does make a lot of sense. I like that.
I would like that if Freddie Peralta is traded. All right, let's move on to guys. As we just talked about the Twins, let's talk about their ace right now, Joe Ryan. Thumbs up or thumbs down? Will he get traded? JV, I'll throw it to you first.
Yes, I see him getting dealt. I think, like Mike just said, they're kind of in a rebuild mode. Byron Buxton is another guy that's been floated around, so they're looking to make some deals. It looks like their GM is ready to wheel and deal. and start this rebuild and start the rebuild before the deadline. So, like I said, um, I personally think he gets dealt. I think it's the Red Sox right now with the upper hand. Maybe Toronto comes in and sneaks in somehow and tries to make a move for him. But right now, I do think the Red Sox have a couple more pieces that they could offer a team like Minnesota, and they could package up, two or three guys for a guy like Ryan and call it a day. So I'm going to say yes. I think there's going to be multiple teams in on him as well, besides Boston. So I think Minnesota gets it done before the season starts. I'm going to say yes. He gets dealt.
Yeah, I am also a thumbs up. I'm pretty much exactly on point to what Jay said. I think the perfect fit, and I think the suitor for him is the Red Sox. I think they were the most aggressive at the deadline to try to get him. I know the Mets were involved, but I don't think the Mets wanted to give up what Minnesota was asking. I could see maybe even San Diego being in on him. Um, I I do eventually see him getting moved. I don't know if it's going to be right away. He might be a late push. I'm not really sure. I mean, we're going to see the winter meetings. I think are going to be wild. I think there's going to be a lot more trades in this winter
Yeah.
meetings than the year prior. But listen, this guy. I mean, especially in Boston, to have that 1-2 punch of Crochet and then Ryan. I mean, that's disgusting. I think that's perfect for them if they're going to go all in now for the next couple of years to make a run. I mean, how do you not go after this guy?
Yeah, I'm a big thumbs up on this, double thumbs up if that's a thing, because I think there's three suitors for him, really three. I think it's the Red Sox, the Mets, and the Cubs. I think those are the main three suitors, all linked with him to an extent, not as big as the Red Sox at the trade deadline. But yeah, I think if they're going to go full-blown rebuild, this is the route that they have to go. And they're going to get a nice, decent package in return for him as well. So whoever could give you the most. I think it could be the Red Sox. I mean, the Mets, if the Mets really, really wanted to do it, they could.
Yeah.
But maybe they have their eyes on a bigger fish that we're going to talk about right now. Actually, great transition by Brew. We have Tariq Skubal. And so, yeah, thumbs up or thumbs down. JB, I'll throw it to you.
I'm saying no. I don't think he gets moved. I think they're just going to ask the world of every team. You know, was talking about this with Mike actually earlier, and I just think that look, if a team like Arizona was asking for 5 or 6 prospects for Suarez, a guy like Suarez, what are the Tigers going to ask for a 2-time back-to-back Cy Young Award winner? I just think it's going to be too much right now. I personally think I do know that the Tigers, it makes sense to trade him. I really do, because I don't think they're going to re-sign him. But they may actually let him walk. I really, crazy as it may sound, they may actually let him walk and test free agency, or maybe they say, hey, let's try to re-sign you and let's try to figure out a number that could make this work out, because I know the first number that they offered was completely disrespectful. It was like 4 years, 81 million or something along those lines, and it's just completely baffling how you could even offer that. I just would have never made an offer if that was the case. But I mean, maybe they go back to the drawing board trying to figure out a deal. I see they're going to X so much for him, and I just don't see a team biting on it as of right now. So I'm going to say no, he doesn't get dealt.
As much as I want to see him get moved, I'm going down. I don't think so. I think they're similar to what I said about Miami. I think they're going to oversell, as wild as that sounds, for a guy who's just won back-to-back Cy Youngs. I do think they're going to oversell their hand. Now, the thing is, them trading him, you would assume the team going for him is obviously going to try to extend him in some which way, shape, or form, whether it's right away, whether it's throughout the season, if he's open for those negotiations, whichever it is. Now, that does not play any effect on the trade itself. Reality of it is you're trading for a guy with 1 year left. Notably, I mean, some of the guys in the recent past who have been traded with a year left, the asking price, or at least what the return wasn't as crazy as maybe you think it is. Brew, you should know this flat out. Corbin Burns, you guys didn't get a ton back for him.
No, we didn't.
Juan Soto to the Yankees, outside of Michael King, and Kyle Higashioka. I don't even remember the other two players in the deal. That's also on me. Francisco Lindor traded to the Mets with 1 year left. Ahmed Rosario and Andres Jimenez centerpiece that trade.
Mhm.
I don't think it's going to cost. I think what everybody is panicking, thinking that it's going to be a ton. It's going to be the world. It's going to be pieces. Don't get me wrong. I'm not going to sit here and say they're going to give up mid-level guys, but you're not going to have to give up 4 or 5 top-tier guys, essentially, to land this guy. But I think Detroit, that's what they're going to ask for. And I think they're going to oversell their hand, and he's not going anywhere.
Yeah, I'm thumbs down on it as well. Big thumbs down, because I think with how still wide open the AL is, they could compete. And I know they slumped big time. They almost, obviously they choked the division, but nobody really cares because then they beat the Guardians in the playoffs. So that was that. I think the Tigers, though, go at a few free agency pickups, whether it's, adding into that rotation. I know Flaherty picked up his option. That was obviously a tragedy for the city of Detroit. So let's just think about it. You guys could be possibly being on bringing one of your old guys, Scherzer, Verlander, back. That could be a thing. Michael King could be an option. Like, go get a bat as well if you want to be on the Bregman Suarez sweepstakes. I think, honestly, I know Morosi was talking about it. I really do believe that Glaber is very much tempting picking up that option, is what I'm hearing. And I wouldn't be surprised because, yes, he did have a pretty bad second half. So, look, that could be something. My point is the Tigers are there to compete. They went to Game 5 again of the ALDS. They lost, unfortunately, for them. But I don't see a way that they trade Skubal knowing that they could still be a competitive team in the AL and still have a chance to make it to the World Series. So, I don't see it. Maybe trade deadline if they've fallen off somehow, some way. But even then, it's like JV was talking about, it's just frustrating because of the offer that they first made him. Such a ridiculous low ball offer. They're not keeping him in free agency. That's what I will say. Maybe if he takes the pay cut, which he could take the pay cut for the city that he loves. But at the end of the day, I mean, it only takes a Mets or Dodgers or a Yankee or a Blue Jays check to blow him away. And he's 40-ounce bounce, guys. So no matter what I will say about the Tigers about this, direct message to Tigers fans, be careful. Be careful, because if you guys do trade him, it could either be a hit, depending on what you guys get, or it could be like, wow, we effed ourselves over here. It's either or, to be honest.
It's very true. Yeah.
I would also like to add to similar energy to like what I said about Freddie Peralta. These are the reasons why this lockout seems to be imminent. Pay this man. Pay this man.
If you want to, yeah.
I don't get it. I'm sorry, I just don't get it. We all know why it's not being done.
They're cheap.
And you know what?
But Detroit has been in on a couple of free agents.
Bregman?
I mean, Bregman, they were linked to. They signed Baez a few years ago. I mean, pay this man.
I get it, but look at. They're just trying not to overspend, and it's crazy to me that they didn't even offer at least 32 to 33 million. That's still that is a little disrespectful still, but it would have been understandable. 20.5 million a year is just, to me, how do you offer that? If I'm the owner, I would tell my GM, don't offer that. We're going to look ridiculous. Like, why would you even offer that? Like, out of just the pure reputation part of it. I mean, but again, that's a whole other story for another.
I'm pretty sure after that report came out, maybe Miguel Cabrera called off the front office. Like, are we serious? This is what you guys are?
Like what are we doing?
Like, are you guys serious? Like,
4 years, 80 million is what a guy like Michael King is going to get. Like Brew was just talking about, a guy like Michael
possibly.
King. That's what he's going to get.
Possibly. And
how do you give a guy that won back-to-back Cy Youngs the same deal? It's really pathetic that they even offered that. But like I said,
let's go into another organization that if they trade this guy, unless the reports are true, I think would be not the best, not good at all. And I'm talking about Ketel Marte of the Arizona Diamondbacks. The big bat that's kind of given the same vibe as like a Kyle Tucker last year, in my opinion, winter meetings wise. I think this could be a situation that unfolds. Thumbs up or thumbs down? JV, Mike, I'll throw it to JV first.
I'm going to say
no.
I'm going to say no. I'm going to say I think he's a deadline piece. I think maybe Arizona wants to see how they fare the first couple of months of the year, and then maybe he's having a monster year as well, where his trade value even skyrockets even more, where Arizona could unload him for even a better package than what they can get now. I think if that happens, also somebody would take his deal, head on, because it's kind of team friendly. I believe he's owed 70 million for the remaining few years that he has left. So I think if he's playing really well to start the year, by the deadline, he could be moved. And if Arizona is like 6 or 7 games out, let's say, I could really see them unloading him, and trying to just start over. And like I said, I think a team would then take on his salary as well, because it's very team friendly. So this is a wait and see for me, but I'm going to say no. He doesn't get dealt before the season starts.
He's getting moved, and I wasn't buying it. I wasn't buying that they were actually seriously shopping this guy, because it just, to me, I mean, unless, like Bruce said, these reports are true that, you have teammates that are unhappy with him because he took time away from the team, and maybe there's some other issues. Obviously we're not in the clubhouse, we don't know. I thought it was very strange. I mean, he just signed an extension. Him and Carroll, the guys that you're basically building your lineup around, and now all of a sudden he's got to go. So something's up. Now, whatever that might be, I mean, maybe it comes out, maybe it doesn't. I lean towards it never does. But I do think he gets moved. I think that it's going to heat up at the winter meetings. I think he is going to be the big winter meetings trade piece. I think he's the one that gets moved at the winter meetings, and he's the one that headlines it. So at least for the trade market.
Yeah, I agree. I think he is getting moved. I honestly was on the fence. I thought it was a thumbs down at first, but throughout the past few weeks, seeing that how Bob Nightingale has reported, it just looks like, I don't know, man. It's just rubbing me like this. This might be the closure period of him in Arizona, and I think they're going to use the blueprint from the Tucker trade last offseason. They're going to use that blueprint with Tucker. I know Marte's contract's more team-friendly, very team-friendly, actually. But if they could get a similar return to what the Cubs got, not the Cubs, the Astros got for Tucker, or maybe get something more, I think they do it. I think they do it for the right offer. Teams that will be suitors, if I look at it right now, man, the Yankees, because the Arizona Diamondbacks are in love with the Yankees farm system, guys. Don't forget that.
I've heard that.
Yeah, let me think. The Mets? Could the Mets be involved, bro?
Yeah, I don't see why not.
Absolutely.
I don't see why not. I think the Mets are going to make a ton of moves. I think a lot of it's going to come via trade. And, I mean, hey, listen, we don't know what's going to happen with Pete. And if Pete does go, you're going to have to replace the production somewhere. There's
maybe Seattle. Maybe Seattle. Too.
Seattle's a name I thought about. They have the farm
back to Seattle.
Back to Seattle. Imagine that. Back to Seattle.
No, they got their reunion with Suarez. They're not getting two.
No, probably not. I mean, they have a nice farm system where they could tempt and get it done. Could a Detroit be involved? Maybe. Man,
hey, school, but we're not going to pay you, but we're going to take on this guy's contract.
You'd be surprised, bro.
What about Milwaukee?
I thought about that. I really did think about that. We have a farm system that I feel like they would be enticed with.
It's 70 million. It's not a lot of AAV.
It's not a lot.
The AAV kind of fits in, and it kind of could work. I mean,
man, quit playing, bro. I'll pick him up. I'll pick him up myself, bro.
I feel like he's a small market team's dream. Because the production that he's giving you for the amount that you got to pay him, I feel like it's a steal. I think Cattell, honestly, in my personal opinion, I think he's probably the most underrated guy in the National League.
Yeah.
And for what he's getting, he's sort of getting paid like that also. I mean, if we're being honest, why not?
Another team maybe I'm thinking about, it depends if they
go ahead. Maybe the Astros. As much as I hate to say it.
Let me think. Do they trade interdivision? I can't see it. I mean, they could, but I was going to say the Padres, but I don't know. That'd be tricky, obviously. I don't know. There's teams out there.
You'd have to give up a ton into the division. That's why it just never happens.
Yeah, that's a good point. Will one of these like low key like uprising young teams finally make a move or like something like that? I mean, they could. Like, could the Nationals finally do something like this? I mean, bro, at some point, like what? Like, here's the thing. Here's a frustration. I'm not even finna bet.
Does he have a no trade clause? No, right?
No, I don't think so. No.
Yeah, so maybe they go to him and be like, "Hey, where would you want to go?" I don't think he's gonna want to go to a team that's rebuilding.
No, I get that. It's just like it's finally time for like certain, and I guess this is a little bit of a spiel, but like these teams that we expect to go up finally make a move that boosts you up is what I'm saying. Like make that move, whether it's like Miami, Washington, I don't know. Maybe imagine some way, somehow they have the farm system for it. Cincinnati, Oakland, believe it or not. What if, imagine Marte with Kurtz and Wilson and those guys, Rooker?
Absolutely. That'd be crazy.
Let's and you know what? They have the prospects for it after that Padres Miller trade. So like, let's put it into perspective. One of these teams, what I'm trying to say is like, even the Rockies. No, I'm just kidding. That's a joke.
Oh my goodness gracious.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. That's a joke. Yo. All right. That's enough. What I'm saying is small market teams, look at this guy. You guys could go out for a guy like this. And honestly, he's such an underrated player, like Mike said. Adding him to your team, bro, do it. I mean, I think he's going to get traded. I do believe that the relationship has been fractured. The way that people are talking about, we'll probably know what will never happen. Like, we'll never know what happened. But it sounds like it's no going back. That's what I'm getting.
I think that's fair. And we're gonna see. We're definitely gonna see. I think this is gonna be a wild off season overall.
You know what? And it was good. I feel like we had a lot of similar responses, but also as well, like JV doesn't have Marte being traded, and I get his reasoning why. Because obviously, if you take Marte out of that lineup,
what do they have? I mean, they have Carroll. Yeah, fine. I mean, listen. Even when we agreed, we had different reasons for it, so I still think that's good. If I could ask, maybe we give one apiece. Guys that weren't mentioned on this list that maybe is kind of an underrated trade piece. Do you guys have anybody that could be a shocking trade that nobody's really talking about?
I do, and you're not gonna like it, but I heard it recently. Brandon Nimmo.
Yeah, I heard that this morning.
I think it makes sense, though. It kind of makes sense.
It kind of does, and I'm not happy. So like, I'm not happy.
I had to bring it up because it's like I read the article and everything like that, and I was like, you kind of sold me on it. If the Mets do go that route, obviously they'll have a plan B if they were to trade him. I like it. What would you think about that? What would you think about that, you personally?
I mean, Brandon Nimmo is one of my favorite Mets. I don't want to see that happen, but given what I'm hearing from Stearns about how he wants to go more defensively and more defensively sound, Nimmo has obviously lost a step, and he's 33 years old. So does it fit? I mean, everyone's talking about the Mets want to go defensive, and, that's why Alonso's not in the equation. Well, Nimmo's kind of aging in the field a little bit.
Yeah.
I would hate to see it. I love him in the lineup. Again, he's one of my favorite players on the team. I don't want to see that happen, but as far as the logic behind it, unfortunately, I get it.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense to me.
What about you, JB? One player that we didn't mention?
What about the Dodgers trading like Teoscar Hernandez?
Ooh, why? I'm curious. Why?
Aging.
Okay.
Maybe free up a little money to address their bullpen. Maybe trade him for a bullpen piece that's maybe not available in free agency right now. Maybe a team who needs a bat. Maybe a team who needs a bat who has a middle reliever that they're willing to give up. Maybe a trade is.
Oh. All right, now you just made my mind go in 1,000 different places, and I don't like it.
I could see it if they get Tucker.
That's the whole point.
No, but here's why I don't like it. Because if the Dodgers are going to move on from Teoscar, bigger and better things are in the horizon. I don't like that.
Well, that's the thing. That their team is so good that they have movable pieces that anybody would take on. So,
I think
it's a movable piece. It's a guy that you could DH. You could maybe play occasional outfield, and he's going to bop 25 to 30 home runs. He'll hit 260 to 270, knock in 80 RBIs, and call it a day. And
he's not good defensively. He's not good defensively.
He's not great defensively, but maybe you get. But because of his offense, maybe you could get a middle reliever, a seventh or sixth or seventh inning guy that could really like nail it down for you. And the Dodgers don't really have that, and maybe it just builds a little bit more stability in their pen.
Also, I'm gonna give a quick shout out to our guy Gabe, and my thought process when you said trading him immediately went to this: how many times are they going to continue blocking off their prospects? And I think that's one thing.
The other thing, yeah.
That's one thing where I think a lot of Dodgers fans, even Gabe had mentioned, it's time to see some of these guys shine. I think it's time to see some of these guys get the opportunity that they deserve because they have the second ranked farm system in baseball. I mean, keep in mind, they could trade these guys, get something else in return. But for guys that are ready to come up, could trading Teoscar for a middle reliever, I kind of see that vision. Or could it be just freeing up the spot for Kyle Tucker? Who knows, But
who knows? Yeah, who knows? But I just thought maybe they'd address the pen, maybe make a trade with like a team that could use a bat and that they wouldn't mind giving up a middle reliever type guy.
I like that. What about you, Mike?
So I'm gonna go the maybe 1B. I'll explain in a second. I feel like he got overshadowed because he was injured a little bit last season. But I'm going to go the 1B to Joe Ryan, and I'm going to say Pablo Lopez. Like Ryan as well, he's got 2 years left, about $21 million remaining for each year. He signed a 4-year, $75 million deal, and I think it was end loaded. So I think he's a solid starter. I don't think he's getting enough recognition. I think he's kind of been forgotten about because he got hurt. He was pitching very well until he went riddled with injuries to end this year. I think they can get a decent haul back for him. I also don't think it's going to be crazy expensive because depending on the team that's trading for him, if you're willing to eat the remaining $21 million each year, it's not going to cost you a ton. But if maybe you're going to split 50-50 or 60-40, however you're going to break that down, I mean, obviously, the Twins will get back more of a piece, but I like Pablo Lopez getting moved.
Another for sure name, real quick, Nolan Arenado. I think he's getting traded this offseason for sure.
Can I give one more name?
Go ahead.
Byron Buxton, I think, is going to be.
Wow, that's a surprising one, to be honest, because he would have to waive his no trade clause.
I don't know if I see that.
I think it's going to happen, though. I think the Twins are going to go to him and say, hey, listen, we were building and we think we can get a lot for you and we'll trade you wherever you want to go. I think they'll accommodate him, but I think they're not going to win. And maybe they try to put him in a better position and trade him to a team that's contending. I could see maybe like a team like Milwaukee as well. Maybe like that could use an outfielder. I actually see the Yankees, not trying to be biased, but I could see maybe if the Yankees swing and miss on Tucker and maybe Bellinger, they could go after a guy like Buxton. I do see a lot of teams being in the mix for him if he became available. So I'll say the Twins and Byron Buxton, maybe parting ways.
Dang, that would hurt Twins fans. I know that would hurt. That one would hurt because that's their guy. It's like Prince, Byron Buxton, Minnesota. You know what I mean? So
yeah, I get it. I get it.
So it's close enough.
Purple rain, baby. Purple rain, baby.
Oh my god, that was fantastic.
So yeah, let us know though in the comments. Let us know who do you guys think is going to get traded. Do you see any trades happening for your guys' team? By all means, we love when you guys interact in the comment section. I know there was some comments in the previous videos, the pitcher prediction and the hitter prediction, the position players. I think it'd be perfectly fine if you guys give us Ketel Marte, Scooble, give us the top guys at least. Let us know. Or if it's a guy like maybe, I don't know, Joe Adell, Willie Abreu, something low-key, just let us know in the comment section. We love when you guys give us your thoughts and opinions. By all means, we appreciate the support that you guys show. We've seen the uptick in views in those last two videos. Absolutely phenomenal.
Appreciate you guys.
Yeah, guys, really. I think Brew said it the best. We really do appreciate what you guys are doing. We're working our asses off to get the best content possibly out there, coming out with some maybe new ideas. And just trying to see, where everything falls. We really do appreciate the viewership, guys, and thanks as always.